Alright, we're doing our first test run, the 1868 Springfield trapdoor in 5070. I came out here today. I was going to use Swiss 1.5, and I had the load set up 55 grains, 60, 65, and then 70. And I did have two different bullets. I had one set of bullets cast at 130 and one set of bullets cast at 120 alloy. Now I got up to the 60 grains and I was hitting 1200 feet per second, which I left my reference papers home. I'm just using a computer and a chronograph, but I think I hit the safety ceiling and shouldn't be going over. So now I'm switching to 55 grains, a Swiss 1.5 with a 1/20 bullet. And so far the accuracy on these 5070s is pretty good at 50 yards. They're not as high as the, they don't shoot as high as the 4570s, and actually it's kind of a fun gun to shoot. The only thing is I've been trying the new, if you look at my thing on homemade solvent, been using that. But the gun seems to foul real bad, even with the solvent. Of course, I think you got to hit the right powder combination. The 55 grain fouled pretty bad, but the 60 didn't. But we got to stop because of our velocity. So I'm going to try 55 grain with a 1/20 bullet and do my string of 5. That gave a crack. Ooh.
13.
Yeah, that was bad. I think somebody moved the bullet on me. Let me try this one. Yeah, I got a bullet mixed up. At 1500 was probably a 70 grain load. So 1100 is about what these 55 grain loads should be doing. So needless to say, we're not going to go up to our 65 and 70 grain loads. Yeah. Yep, it's about 1,132 feet per second. I was getting up with 60 grain loads about 12, 1210, 1220. We don't want to go any faster than that right at the moment until I check on that. Alright, then when we're done, we get home, we'll review the targets and velocities. Okay, we're going to review our first attempt with 5070 black powder cartridges, and we did this testing at 50 yards out of the Springfield trapdoor in 1868. We're using Swiss 1.5 black powder, 1.5 grain black powder, and I had here a 55 grain load and using a 1/20 alloy bullet, and I got up to 60 grain load using a 1/20 alloy bullet, and we had to stop because we were hitting our ceiling of 1,200 feet per second. And I didn't have my paperwork with me. The Swiss 1.5 is kind of denser black powder, and it is got a little bit more power behind it. And so when I had another set of 65 and 70 grains, but I stopped because I was reaching the velocity. We'll have to go back. But the results were, with the 120, were here. This one here, not too impressive. Basically, we're doing 4.5 inch spread there. The 55 was a little better with about a 3-inch spread. Now when I did the same powder with the softer alloy bullet, the 1/30, the 55 grain gave me, it looks about 3-inch spread and vertical stringing. Could be from the fouling. The best one out of the bunch was the 1/30 with 60 grains of Swiss, which about 2.5 on that spread there. So that was the best. The Swiss powder's a little bit, like I said, denser, has a little more power to it. Goex and some other brands don't, so I may do another run. But this is my first shot at it, and not too bad. Keep this for a reference, and I'm going to try a different brand of powder, and because I don't want to go over the velocity, go over the pressures in that old 140-year-old gun. That was my first shot at it. I'm going to do a bit more work on the 5070.